You know, you spend your life working for money. You save it, you spend it, you worry about it. We all think of it as a tool, right? Something we use to get by, to build a life. But what if it's not just a tool? What if the money in your pocket is actually a piece of a much larger, invisible system, a system of control? Today, we're digging into a powerful source that makes exactly this claim. And honestly, what we found might just change the way you see your wallet forever.
So let's just cut right to the chase with a huge question. It's a question that affects every single thing you buy, every hour you work, every dollar you try to save. Who actually decides what your money is worth? It seems like it should have a simple answer, but according to our source, it's anything but.
Okay, so to get to the bottom in this, we first have to tear down the biggest myth there is about money. It's this fundamental misunderstanding that keeps most of us from ever seeing the system for what it really is.
You know the story, right? We've all heard it. When a country needs more cash, the government just fires up the printing presses and makes more. Simple. But there's a massive, gaping hole in that story. And this is the question that just blows that whole idea apart. Think about it. If governments can literally create money from nothing, why would pretty much every country on the planet be drowning in debt? And who in the world are they borrowing all this money from? This one paradox, this is our way in. This is how we start to see the real blueprint of modern money.
Well, to figure that out, we've got to look back. We have to understand how the very definition of money got completely flipped on its head, from something real you could hold to something, well, something totally different, something controlled by just a few.
See, for a long time, money was straightforward. A dollar bill wasn't just a piece of paper. It was basically a claim check. It was a promise that you could walk into a bank and trade that piece of paper for a real, physical amount of gold. Money was anchored to something real. So you see the journey here, right? We went from having the actual value, the gold bars, to holding a promise for that value, the paper notes. But then everything changed. The promise itself changed. It stopped being a promise for gold. Instead, it became a promise to pay back a debt. And that single shift is how our entire modern money system was born.
And that, right there, is the big reveal. The money in your bank account today, it's not a claim on anything in a vault. According to our source, it's just an entry in a computer created when someone took out a loan. It's backed by nothing more than a promise to pay it back.
Okay, so that raises a massive question. If money is created from debt, and governments are the ones in debt, then who are the ones actually creating the money? The answer to that is, well, it's probably not who you think.
Right, so let's ask the obvious next question. If it's not the government's printing presses running day and night, where is the vast majority of our money supply actually born?
And here it is. The source's claim is direct, and frankly, a little startling. It's not the government, it's commercial banks. Yep, the same institutions where you have your checking account, they are the primary source of new money in our economy.
And how they do it? It's almost ridiculously simple. When you go get a loan for a house or a car, the bank doesn't take money from someone else's savings account and give it to you. Nope. They just type new digital dollars into your account. Poof! Money created out of thin air. This new money is born as debt, and it enters the world needing to be paid back, with interest.
And once you get that, you start to see the bigger picture. Debt isn't some unfortunate side effect of our economy. It's the very fuel that makes the engine run. Without people constantly going into debt, the system, as it's designed, would just stop.
Yeah, this line from our source just nails it. We're taught to think of debt as a problem, right? A mistake to be avoided. But from this viewpoint, debt is the whole point. It's the core operating principle of the entire global financial machine.
Think about it. This whole machine only keeps running if we all keep playing our part. It needs us to keep working, to pay our debts, keep spending, to move money around, and most importantly, keep borrowing, to create new money. And that little thing called interest, it guarantees there's always more debt out there than money to pay it all back. So the cycle has to continue.
And that's the built-in weakness, isn't it? The scary part. If enough people decided to stop borrowing, stop spending, and just focus on paying off what they owe, the money supply would actually shrink. The whole economic machine, as our source describes it, would grind to a halt. Okay, so the banks are creating the money as debt. But who's running the show? Who's setting the rules for this whole game? Well, if you look to the very top of the pyramid, that's where you find the real architects of the system. And this really lays out the power dynamic, doesn't it? On one side, you've got your governments. We elect them, sure, but they're completely dependent on borrowing money just to operate. On the other side, you have central banks. These people are unelected, they control the price of all money, the interest rates, and they have final say over the currency itself. And the amount of power these guys have is staggering. A single decision they make can send economies soaring or crashing. I mean, think about what happened in the early 2020s. A handful of unelected people decided to raise interest rates, and boom, overnight, mortgages and car payments got more expensive for millions, and the value of people's savings took a nosedive. That, our source argues, is real power.
So what does this actually mean for you, for your wallet? Well, when all this new money gets created, it has to go somewhere. It floods into financial markets, pumping up the prices of things like stocks and real estate. Now, who owns most of those assets? The wealthy. They get richer. Meanwhile, the cash you've been working hard to save in the bank, it's losing its value because of the inflation this process creates.
And here's the kicker. Our source claims this isn't some random side effect. It's not a bug, it's a feature. The way money is created is literally designed to benefit those who already own assets at the expense of those who save cash or earn a wage.
So, we come full circle. We started by asking, who controls the money? And now we have an answer. It's not the government we elect. It's a financial system built on debt, and it's controlled and managed by a powerful network of private commercial banks and unelected central banks.
At the end of the day, the source leaves us with this one last, pretty heavy thought. Look, understanding this isn't meant to be scary. It's about being aware. Because if you don't even ask the question of who's in control of your money, well, you can be sure someone else already knows the answer, and they are acting on it every single day.